The next question is here, and then the gentleman about halfway back on the end. You will be next. You have your hand up now.
Okay. I need everybody to write this down. It's called HR 2520. It is the Patient's Choice Act of 2009. It has incentives for tort reform, it encourages health savings accounts, and reduces Medicare fraud.
Who's the co-sponsor of that? Who's the lead sponsor?
Doesn't matter. The reason why I'm telling you this is that there is an alternative out there. I'm wondering, why are you and Ross and Lincoln and all those supporting HR 3200 pretending that this unexplainable, secretly written bill is the only reform possible? Stop pretending that 1,000-page bills written by closed doors and direct to Congress are the only solution to the problem. Kill this bill and support real reform. And it only took me about 25 minutes to go on the internet and find this. Because I looked at different healthcare reform bills. You have staff there. Look it up. Find out what it is and support it. And if you can't support that, support something else. But but don't pass a bill that you can't even explain. You only gave a page number once when you were talking about it. You even about illegal immigration. You even failed to talk about the lack of enforcement in this. There were amendments that will require proof of citizenship in order to access the healthcare council.
You obviously support that bill. I support this bill. We disagree on that. I think this does a lot of good things.
This gentleman is next, and then the lady here will follow her. Yeah.
I was wondering if we're going to have to mandate insurance on people anyway, like they're talking about with this exchange and everything, without a public option, what's going to do anything to make the insurance companies draw costs down? Because right now they'll just maintain the status quo. We need a public option that can compete on the free market, and that's the only viable solution.
David, when we do this the next time, we need an applause meter so it can record its sound. I appreciate the enthusiasm on all sides. The issue of the exchange, I think, will bring competition in the system. Because people will have, the exchange will negotiate with insurance companies for what their best rate is for what would be considered an average, good employer-sponsored health plan. And so it would be posted. The insurance companies, you can go online and get it. You would have that company. The other thing is, I believe that if we put tens of millions more people into the insurance market where they can buy policies, that you will see more insurance companies wanting to go into areas that are lower income areas because they now know that there are people there with the ability to get coverage. There are some things that deals with doing away with pre-existing conditions that we talked about. That lowers some of the administrative overhead on insurance companies. But I'm not going to pretend and say this is somehow everything is perfect with any bill. That's not going to happen. But I think that this is for a lot of things we do in Medicare, more efficiency, more primary care doctors, chronic disease management, dealing with health information technology, all kinds of things, encouragement of people in rural areas. There is a lot of things in here that is part of health reform for this country.
Mr. Snyder, I just want to thank you for being here today. I think it's a wonderful demonstration of democracy in action, and it's exciting to see so many Americans engaged once again in the political process. I actually have two questions. This is really good. I have two questions, and I'll go ahead and ask, and then I'll let you answer both of them, if that's okay. My first question is, do you agree with your party leaders who have labeled those who are against this bill as un-American and Nazi? And if not, why have you not come out and defended us as your constituents? That's my first question. My second question is, I understand, I'll ask both of them if you don't mind. My second question is about how this is going to be paid for. And I know that you said it must be budget neutral or deficit neutral. I know you said there hasn't been any proposals about how it's going to be paid for.
Get your hands out of your pockets.
I have a nonpartisan assessment of this that says basically all y'all in Washington are looking at 4 options, and I want to know which, if any of these, do you support? a value-added tax in the form of a national sales tax of 10 to 25%? No, thank you. Taxing our existing healthcare policies?
No.
Thank you. New excise taxes on high-calorie drinks like coffee and soda, alcohol, other things that are considered politically incorrect?
Well, everything with milkshake and beer, no.
No, thank you. Taxing 8 million Americans who currently have health savings accounts and punishing those of us who are behaving responsibly and taking responsibility for our own lives? No. So if you're not in favor of any of those, sir, how do you propose to pay for this?
Okay, with regard to your first question, I mean, if you would look at my, I think I've been asked multiple times on TV and in the press where I thought about people asking questions, and in fact, I guess the most recent time was Steve Barnes' show last night, and my view is, I don't know why you all are here. I assume you're here because you care about America and care about health care. And if you're here because you belong to some group that emailed you and said, come to this forum, great. I mean, it doesn't matter to me what your motivation is for being here, and I've said that publicly, so in answer to your question, I have defended people asking questions. The issue of cost, I think, is in terms of the substance of the bill, I think in many ways is the most important one. And there's several ways to look at it. First of all, annually in this country, we spend about $2.6 trillion on health care. $2.6 trillion every year on health care. If we find just somehow in that 2.6 trillion, somewhere by the time the thing is fully implemented, 120, 130 billion dollars a year. So 2.6 trillion, 120, 130 billion a year. We can do all the things I talked about in terms of getting another 37 or 40 million insured, deal with the problem of the underinsured, doing away with rescissions and all that kind of thing. Now, if we can't find that money in 2.6 trillion, then the underlying bill also has a surcharge on the wealthiest Americans. I think it's 350,000 individual income and above. No middle Americans to be taxed, but that's part of the bill too to add to the money. So that's part of the issue, how we pay for it. Those are the two ways. Now, with the issue, I want to say specifically about Medicare. If we didn't do any of this stuff, we're not talking about health care reform at all for those of us who have private insurance. A lot of us and a lot of you have been talking about entitlement reform for a long time. And Medicare is the one that is most vulnerable. And probably because of me, because I'm about to turn 62, and if my generation gets fully retired, a lot of these UCA students are going to wonder what hit them 10 years from now when they're trying to make a living and deal with Medicare. We have to grapple with the cost of Medicare. We have